Welcome! In a previous video, we learned what a test statistic is and how it summarizes evidence from sample data. In this video, we'll learn what a test function is, how it differs from a test statistic, and how it uses a test statistic to make a decision about the null hypothesis. In this video, we'll cover 5 main topics. We'll begin with a brief review of the test statistic, which we'll denote by T of x. Next, we'll introduce the test function, denoted by psi of x, and explain its role in hypothesis testing. We'll then work through a simple example to calculate the test statistic. Finally, we'll see how the test function uses the test statistic to determine whether to reject the null hypothesis or fail to reject it. As a quick review, a test statistic is a function of the sample data that produces a numerical value. Its purpose is to summarize the evidence against the null hypothesis. However, a test statistic by itself does not make a decision. To make a decision about the null hypothesis, we use a test function, which is the topic of this video. Before we continue, notice that the notation for a test statistic is not fixed. Different symbols may be used, such as T, Z, or W, depending on the context. In this video, we use T of x to denote the test statistic and reserve psi of x for the test function. Now let's define a test function. We denote the test function by psi of x. Mathematically, it is written using an indicator function. The test function uses the sample data through the test statistic to check whether a specified condition is satisfied. Think of the indicator function as a simple switch. If the condition is satisfied, it outputs 1. Otherwise, it outputs 0. This output is then converted into a statistical decision. An output of 1 means we reject the null hypothesis, while an output of 0 means we fail to reject the null hypothesis. In the next slide, we'll see exactly what the condition is and how the test function uses the test statistic to make this decision. Now let's see how a test function works. Recall that the test function is written as psi of x equals the indicator function of a condition. In this example, the condition is that the test statistic is greater than the critical value, denoted by C. In other words, the condition is T of x greater than C. Now let's go through the steps. First, we compute the test statistic from the sample data. Next, we compare the test statistic with the critical value. If the condition is true, that is, if T of x is greater than C, the test function outputs 1, and we reject the null hypothesis. If the condition is false, that is, if T of x is less than or equal to C, the test function outputs 0, and we fail to reject the null hypothesis. In the next example, we'll calculate a test statistic and apply the test function step by step. Let's now apply these ideas to a simple hypothesis testing example. A manufacturing process is designed to produce metal rods with a target length of 10 centimeters. A random sample of 8 rods is selected, and the deviation of each rod from the target length is measured. Our goal is to determine whether the mean deviation from the target length is 0. Suppose that x1 through xn are independent and identically distributed, or IID, random variables from a normal distribution with mean mu and variance sigma squared, where sigma squared is equal to 1. We test the null hypothesis that the population mean deviation is equal to 0. We begin with the general form of the test statistic. It is the square root of n multiplied by the absolute difference between the sample mean and the hypothesized mean, mu naught, divided by the population standard deviation, sigma. Notice that the numerator measures how far the sample mean is from the hypothesized mean. Since the population variance is equal to 1, the population standard deviation, sigma, is also equal to 1. Therefore, dividing by sigma has no effect, and the denominator can be omitted. Next, because the null hypothesis specifies that mu naught equals 0, the test statistic simplifies to the square root of n multiplied by the absolute value of the sample mean. Notice that we use the absolute value because this is a two-sided hypothesis test. A sample mean that is much larger than the hypothesized mean or much smaller than the hypothesized mean both provide evidence against the null hypothesis. In the next slide, we'll compute this test statistic using the observed deviations from the target length. Now let's calculate the test statistic using the observed deviations from the target length, measured in millimeters, for our sample of 8 metal rods. These values represent how much each rod differs from the target length. A positive value indicates a rod that is longer than the target, while a negative value indicates a rod that is shorter. First, we calculate the sample mean by adding the observed deviations and dividing by 8. This gives a sample mean of negative 0.125. Next, we substitute the sample mean into the simplified test statistic. Taking the square root of 8 and multiplying it by the absolute value of the sample mean gives a test statistic of approximately 0.354. In the next slide, we'll use this test statistic in the test function to determine whether to reject the null hypothesis or fail to reject it. Now let's apply the test function to our example. We begin with the test function, written as psi of x equals the indicator function of t of x greater than c. To illustrate how the test function works, we'll use a critical value of c equals 0.25. We also calculated the test statistic to be t of x equals 0.354. This value summarizes the evidence contained in our sample. Now we substitute the values of t of x and c into the test function. This gives us psi of x equals the indicator function of 0.354 greater than 0.25. Since 0.354 is greater than 0.25, the condition is true. The indicator function therefore outputs 1. So, psi of x equals 1, and we reject the null hypothesis. More generally, whenever t of x is greater than c, the test function outputs 1, and we reject the null hypothesis. Otherwise, whenever t of x is less than or equal to c, the test function outputs 0, and we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Now let's interpret this result in the context of our manufacturing problem. Rejecting the null hypothesis means that our sample data provides sufficient evidence that the mean deviation from the target length is not 0. In other words, the average rod length may no longer be centered on the 10 centimeter target. If this happened in a real factory, it would signal that the manufacturing process should be investigated to determine why the average rod length has shifted away from the target. Ultimately, that's the purpose of hypothesis testing, to turn sample data into a practical decision. To summarize, a test statistic is a numerical value calculated from the sample data. A test function uses the test statistic to make a decision about the null hypothesis. The test function outputs either 0 or 1. When psi of x equals 1, we reject the null hypothesis. When psi of x equals 0, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. I hope this video has helped you understand the relationship between a test statistic and a test function. Thank you for watching.